Laser sights increase confidence regardless of experience level, whether you're learning the fundamentals or overcoming aging eyes. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you.
The number one national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
And we are back. Tom Gresham here. It is Gun Talk. Check it out, guntalk.com. Be sure to get the Gun Dealio app on your smartphone. You can save tons of money. Also, you can use it to listen to Gun Talk shows that you may have missed, past shows. You can go back, well, a zillion years, actually. We've been on the air just about that long, about a zillion years now. It's Gun Dealio is the name of the app. Get the Gun Dealio app for your Android or your iPhone. Also, check out guntalk.com. You can see all of our videos from there on YouTube, let's see, Roku, Facebook, pretty much anywhere you can find videos. We have quite literally thousands of videos up. A lot of good stuff. And check out the First Person Defender series. First, I want to go, before we get to our guest, line 2, Marcia has called in from Reclaw, Texas, home of the Reclaw Fly-In. Hey, Marcia, thanks for calling.
Hi there, Tom, and thanks for the plug on about the Fly-In. That's awesome.
It is a cool place.
Yeah, thank you. Have you been there?
I've not. It's on my definite want-to-go list. I have a lot of friends who go to the Reclaw Fly-In every year.
Well, that's awesome. You know, we have a gun shop, a repair shop on our property now in the aircraft hangar. And, yeah, I got lathes, I got mills, I got all kinds of stuff.
Oh, now you've given me another reason to fly over there.
Yes. Anyway, since I'm a real gunny type person, I have my FFL. I was shocked when I heard about the Shopify thing. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I wanted to get into, is to start selling guns on the internet. And Shopify would have been my first choice for an e-commerce platform.
And that's out. And actually, we're getting to where we're kind of hurting as far as the e-commerce platforms of where you go to sell not just guns, but parts, accessories, stocks, whatever. Did you hear Jay's thought about maybe we get a law passed? Did you hear what he was talking about there?
Yeah, I think that sounds fantastic, but I wanted to put a different spin on this.
Sure.
If you open this up a little bit, my point is that remember when tobacco was such a terrible thing that, and it still is. I'm not a smoker for a reason, but you know, the federal government made it so that you couldn't advertise anything except chewing tobacco in a magazine.
Right.
You can't advertise on TV anymore. You can't, no magazines, no nothing for, the Marlboro Man or anything like that. It got shut down. And, outrageous sales taxes started being put on it. And all of this limiting sales to only Native American reservations in many areas, and on and on and on. Now, what was it? CVS said they're not going to. Was it CVS or was it Walgreens? I think it's CVS. They won't even sell cigarettes in their store anymore. I can see where this sort of thing with guns could be headed in that direction, where your radio show could get shut down. TV networks could get shut down. All the sporting magazines can no longer advertise.
Sure, and then they go away, because if you can't get the advertising, you can't publish, and that's obviously a free speech, a media deal. Let me throw another thought in here, just to give you some historical perspective. The reason that Congress removed the funding from the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, on so-called gun research was because their head of gun research was making a talk somewhere, and he said, our goal with guns is to make them like cigarettes. Dirty, Nasty, and Banned.
Oh, who said this?
This was the head of research at the Centers for Disease Control.
Well, there you go. See? Talking the same language.
Same deal. Exactly.
And I really fear that that's the direction it's going to go to. That if we want to buy a gun, we're going to have to go to a Native American reservation to a gun store.
Well, and I do like the idea of, I think maybe a law passed in Congress that says, you know what, if it is something that has to do with a protected right, free speech or Second Amendment, then you can't block its sale or talking about it on any of the social medias. You can't shut it down. And while I'm not a huge fan a lot of times of government regulation, I think that's maybe one we ought to be looking at. Marcia, thank you so much for calling. I got to scoot here. Tell you what to do. Because we did that, I want to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about an alternative when you can't carry a gun and you can't carry a knife, but you still want to have a tool. What should you carry? But maybe even more important, how do you know how to use it? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at timneytriggers.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
The pistol that redefined pocket carry just got even better. The Ruger LCP2 has improved sights, an easy-to-rack slide, a larger textured grip surface for a secure grip and recoil reduction, and a short, crisp, single-action trigger pull for real-world accuracy. It's so small and light that there's no reason to ever leave home without your LCP2. A serious pistol in a pint-sized package. Learn more about the LCP2 at Ruger.com.
Back with the 866 Talk Gun. I was talking about what do you do when you need to be somewhere but you can't have your gun, you can't have a knife, and you feel naked. You just do. Well, if you get our newsletter, you would have already seen this. If not, we're going to tell you about it now, but also there's more information coming. Wes Doss, of course, is a longtime friend. You've seen him on first-person offender shows and some of the other TV shows we do. Army veteran. Got all sorts of certifications, great trainer, a PhD, by the way, in psychology, which helps him deal with me, I'm sure. It's a pleasure to welcome again to Gun Talk, Wes Doss. Hey, how you doing, partner?
I'm doing great, Tom. Thanks.
Absolutely. Okay, so you have this piece in our newsletter, The Mightier Than the Sword, and it's about tactical pins. And I got to tell you, I was flying yesterday, and I had my tactical pen with me. I put it in my little computer bag with all the other pens when it goes through, and then I take it out and put it in my shirt pocket. And, it may not be a lot, but it's something.
Oh, absolutely. And I think many times it's discounted, and probably more often than not, it's like a fashion statement more than it is being looked at as a tool. And that's kind of a shame because it's got some serious viability to it.
Okay, you teach all sorts of stuff. You travel the country and the world, a lot of times teaching cops to do all sorts of stuff. And, impact tools or something like a pen is part of the package. I know, when you were working as a police officer, you carried those. And, okay, so tell people what a tactical pen is and what they should look for, and then maybe a little bit about how to use it.
Well, by its nature, a tactical pen is obviously something that's anodized a cool color, and it's got some really cool texturing on it. Mm-hmm. So it's got that tactical look to it. But in reality, what it is you've got a high-end writing instrument, because all these use inserts from Fisher's and Cross pens, that's in a real comfortable package. It's a very, very unassuming package, and it's strong, it's rigid. It can be used as an impact tool. It can be used as a pressure control device. It can be used to break windows. It can be used to break ice. It can be used to do a multitude of different tools, and it's a ballpoint pen.
Okay, so it's made out of metal. It's got a pointy end. A lot of times it's got a blunt end. Sometimes it's got a glass breaker. It is a very good, generally. They're not cheap like a big pen, and you can spend upwards of $100 or more, but you can also get them for half that, right?
Absolutely, and they don't always have to be made out of metal. One of my favorite ones is made by Tops Knives, and it's made out of injection molded nylon. Oh. And it's light, it's comfortable, and it's just as durable as anything that's made out of metal.
Okay, now you mentioned pressure points and all, because, of course, the first thing that comes to mind when somebody says, okay, I got a pen, it's got a sharp point on it, I'll use it to stab somebody. But that may actually not be the best move.
No, absolutely not. And I think that's part of the problem is people look at tools from that real simplistic capability. And, you're looking at probably getting yourself in a lot of trouble if the circumstances don't call for that level of response. But you've got a device in your hands when taught properly that could inflict all kinds of persuasive pressure on an individual to get them to stop doing what they're doing.
I like that. Persuasive pressure. That sounds like cop speak to me, which is, I'm going to hurt you. And let me just tell people, I was with Masad Ayub one time, and he was demonstrating a Kubaton, and it took him about 0.5 seconds to wrap that thing around the back of my hand and put a pressure on me, and I'm down on my knees just that fast. I'm going, okay, if you learn how to use these things, they're pretty effective.
They can be, but then again, in there lies the problem of not getting the right training, because to get any of these techniques to work effectively, there's a timing related matter. I mean, if your subject, your individual you're dealing with isn't compliant already, then you've got to work against that non-compliance, which means you've really got to be on your A game to make them work right, which means you need the right training.
All right, give me an idea. What do you talk about when you say you need the right training?
Well, they're not just myself, but there's a multitude of other instructors that are out there that teach the range from defensive tactics up into the world of firearms. And a lot of us have a background in impact tools, and this is where these pens come into play. They're basically a miniature version of a larger tool. So a lot of the techniques that we teach for collapsible batons, the Kubaton, the whole array of different impact tools all apply directly to the use of these pens. But if you don't practice it under the tutelage of somebody who's helping you correct mistakes and pick up that proficiency, mm-hmm. then you're really kind of going into the game kind of with half the game.
Well, it's pretty much the same thing as if you just buy a gun and don't get any training. Lord knows what you're going to be able to do with it.
Bingo, absolutely.
Well, would a martial arts place be a place where you could also get training with these tools?
Well, now, I don't want to discount anybody who's a traditional martial arts school or a martial arts instructor, but again, you've got to know the martial arts, and not every art deals with impact tools or even handheld weapons. A lot of them are just simply empty hand skills. Okay. So not all instructors are that spun up. You may have a martial arts school down on the street corner near your home. You think, hell, I'm going to go down there. But, depending on what his style or his system is, or even the background of the instructor, mm-hmm. you may not be getting what you're paying for.
Okay, so you basically, once again, caveat emptor, be aware, buyer beware, do your research, do your due diligence. So when do you carry, obviously most of the time you can carry a gun, and I assume that would be your preferred way to go, is to carry everything else. When do you carry a pen?
I travel overseas a lot every year. I make frequent trips to the Middle East. I make frequent trips to Asia, even to Eastern Europe. And I can't carry a firearm. In some of those places, I can carry an edge tool. but in some of those places, it's a major capital crime to carry an edged weapon. So under those circumstances, I'll carry a pen, maybe two. And I used to have a background. My first major in college was originally graphic arts back before everything was on a computer. So I used to carry Repetograph pens and drafting pencils in my briefcase too, which are probably the apex of a tactical pen type device.
Well, there you, and not only that, you can hurt somebody with one, but you can also draw pictures with it because you're good at it. So there you
Well, great, absolutely, and you know, if you're at a party, it works good as an ice pick too.
It's another tool in your toolbox, and I love the fact that you're emphasizing that it's, if you don't have training with it, you might be able to do something with it, but it's not so much that you might do the wrong thing, although you might, it's that you just aren't going to get the full possible, but the potential out of it.
Well, that, and if you haven't mastered that tool, think about the potential of that tool being used against you if you can't maintain control over that tool.
Good point. And again, a lot of the things is, it's like when we get training with you and you're showing us something, you do that whole forehead slapping going, oh, that makes sense, and I created this acronym, INTOT. I never thought of that. You hear it all the time. And that's when you say, yeah, that's what I do. I'm the trainer. I think of that stuff all the time.
Right, absolutely. Well, that's the nature of the beast. And part of the thing that we try to push, whether it be edged weapons or it be impact tools or firearms or no matter what the program is critical thought. Because I want people not just blindly coming to a class and then walking away feeling satisfied. I want them to think critically about how they're going to use it, when they're going to use it, their previous training, how does it incorporate into that. And be smart. Be a thinking machine. Don't be, just a black and white machine.
Tell everybody about Khyber Training. What you doing there?
Well, Khyber is kind of an amalgamation of just about everything. We do everything in the high liability realm for law enforcement, military, and civilians. We have a number of programs around the country that are aimed directly at our responsible folks that are out there. We teach everything from Pistol 101 up to basic SWAT, advanced SWAT programs, protection programs, the whole 9 yards.
And Khyber, by the way, for people who are looking it up right now, it's KHYBER training.com, KhyberTraining.com. And you're also doing the Light, Sights, and Laser Tour.
Right. We are actually in the middle of our 6th year of the LSL Tour to date. Now, I don't have this year's numbers yet, but as of December 31st last year, when we concluded last year's tour, we had trained 10,650 students nationwide. 3,002 different agencies had participated in it. So we've made a pretty good footprint, and we've reached out to some places that a lot of trainers just have not ventured to go yet. And
for folks who want to see you doing your thing on the First-Person Offender Series, one of my absolute favorites was the guy who was about to go into the Army and become a Ranger, and when it all started breaking out, he ran and hid behind you and used you as a human shield.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that up. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever been used as a human shield, yeah.
Well, it's one of those, we talk about it. If you haven't really had that kind of training, there's no telling what you're going to do.
Exactly, yeah. You're going to revert back to your lowest level of training or competency, and you don't know where you've gotten that at. And typically that's the skill that will come out under duress. And, that's obviously what popped out there was self-preservation on his part. I think,
it sounds weird, but I think sometimes where they got the training was watching TV and movies, honestly.
TV, movies, video games, pointing fingers at each other, using squirt guns, growing up as a kid, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then as you say, not working with people who think about this stuff all the time. This is a really interesting and thought-provoking article. I appreciate you putting it together for us, Wes, and letting us know about it. I mean, as I say, I've been carrying one of these tactical pens, but probably, as you say, as much as a fashion accessory as anything else, because I haven't gotten the training, but I think I'm going to have to do that.
Well, you know what? Next time we're together, we can play a little bit with one.
Sounds good. I know I'll end up hurt, but that's okay. It's it's what we do.
I've got a box of Hello Kitty Band-Aids just for that.
Perfect. Hey, say hello to everybody for me.
We will. Tell everybody there I said hi.
Will do. Thanks, Wes. Appreciate that. Wes Doss from Khyber Training. Check it out. Khyber, K-H-Y-B-E-R, KhyberTraining.com. Do you go places where you have to leave everything behind and feel naked? Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I understand. I don't have the training. Haven't gone through the training. But I still have my pen. I haven't had any issues taking it on the airlines. I just stick it in with all the other pens in my computer bag, and it goes through carry-on. And just goes through the scanners. And then when I get in, I pull it out and I usually put a couple of pens in my shirt pocket. That one and another one, just a regular pen. And yes, it looks geeky or dorky or whatever you want to call it for people who are walking around with pin nerd. Jim says nerd. Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'm smart enough to be a nerd, though. Just kind of a goofball. But the guy walking around with the pens in his pocket, and that's okay. Maybe, I was going to say, I'm not sure I could look any less intimidating because I've never looked intimidating in the first place. But by doing that, there you go. There are a ton of these available. CRKT has them. I think Gerber has them. A lot of the knife makers have these tactical pens. And if you go to our website, guntalk.com, and look under news in the newsletter, you'll see Wes's article. And you'll get a little bit more background on that. But it's an interesting idea. Makeshift weapons. I remember a friend of mine who really knows this stuff. He said, when he gets on an airline, he asked for a soda, but he asked for the can, and he wants it unopened. Well, you can imagine. If you have nothing else, an unopened can of soft drink is not a bad pounding tool, impact tool. You can go to town on somebody with that. Now, this happens to be a guy who is really good at self-defense, law enforcement, military, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and some advanced training with agencies that actually don't exist. Yes. 866-TALK-GUN, get you in there. We're going to be open lines now, so it's going to be you and me and talk about the guns that we like and anything on your wish list that you're thinking about getting. I got a couple of those. I'm still hankering for that lever action. Don't know if I'm going to do that. And I'm getting my 7mm08 ready for the hunting season as well.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, you're away from home. You want to know what's going on back there. You want to know if there's a threat, especially if you're away from home, but your family's still there. That's basically what the Blink cameras are all about. It's a pretty simple concept. And Blink, by the way, is now owned by Amazon. So you can order them straight off of Amazon. They're little bitty cameras. They're easy to set up. I just got 3 more of them and set them up. AA batteries. I threw the lithiums in there because they last, seems like forever, at least a year, maybe 2. And you can monitor them with your phone. You can get alerts when there's motion detection on there. They also do something pretty cool. They'll let you know what the temperature is if you put them inside and outside. They'll even send you an alert if the temperature goes too high or too low on a camera, so that if you're away in the winter and the heat goes out, you can get an alert that, hey, the heat's gone out in your house and it's getting too cold, you're going to have frozen pipes. That's pretty sweet. Again, part of the security system, all right? But mostly it's about getting the alerts if somebody's walking around your house or snooping around or literally breaking in. And you get the alert, you can call the police. You can also punch up and you can watch the video real time. It'll also record video clips when it sends you an alert, and you can go back and look at those clips later on to see what it was. It's just a really sweet system, and the price is definitely right. Check it out. You go to Amazon.com. You can search for the Blink camera. You can go to BlinkProtect.com. All right, Hal's with us out of Mississippi on line 2. Hey, Hal, what's on your mind here?
That's Al. Long time no see.
How are you, sir?
Doing just fine. I have a legal question here. I don't know if you're an attorney or not, but I know you know a lot of them.
I am not an attorney. I don't even play one on TV.
That's right. Okay, this is about the 5th District Court of Appeals ruling a couple of years back. I think this case originated in Texas, percolated up through till it got to the 5th Circuit in New Orleans, and they ruled that what they did was strike down the prohibition against interstate sale of handguns, as it was, as I guess it's still working that way, where you can purchase one in another state. Now, this is within the 5th District. That would be Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi.
Yeah, the 5th Circuit, the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals.
5th Circuit. And they struck that down, but as far as I know, it has never been implemented. You still can't do that. Now, I may be wrong about that. But
all right, let me take a stab at it, okay? Because what the challenge was brought by the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. The idea is this. Under current law, when you buy a gun from a gun store, they do a background check. It goes through the FBI's NICS background check. It's the same in every state. So the thinking is, well, it used to be they'd ran a check locally, or the state ran a check, but since they're doing it federally now, why would you be prohibited from, if I travel to Mississippi and buy a handgun, or if I travel to Minnesota and want to buy a handgun, why can't I just buy it? They're going to do the background check, and I should be able to just get it on the spot and do the same background check. And so that was the lawsuit, because right now, if you buy it in, say, Minnesota, then they're going to have to ship it to a gun store in your state, and then you will do the background check there. The lawsuit was saying, okay, why do we have to do that? And the lower court said, okay, that makes sense. We'll go with that. We can rule that you can buy guns across state lines, so handguns. The 5th Circuit came back and said, no, we're not going to allow that. This actually came down, I think, in January of this year, if I remember correct. And I was thinking
it was further back than that, but it doesn't matter. But I was always under the impression that when they made a ruling, that immediately became the law of the land within that district. And
the ruling that they made was that the current law is constitutional, so they didn't change the law at all.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression that they had done away with the requirement for shipping between two dealers, and what changed there?
Nothing.
Did they uphold the lower court?
They had a federal court that ruled that way. Okay, here's what you're thinking. In 2015, a federal judge struck down the interstate handgun transfer ban. It was appealed to the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals, and they overturned that judge, returning it back to the current status, which was the old status. Okay,
that clears that up. I was, wondering why I never heard any more about it, but I had it backwards. I was thinking it was the 5th Circuit that had changed.
Right. Yeah, no, it was the lower court that ruled that, and the 5th Circuit overturned that. And here's the problem. The idea, I'm sure at the time, was there's no need to appeal this to the Supreme Court for two good reasons. Number one, they're probably not going to accept it. Number two, we're liable to get a bad ruling out of them because of the makeup of the court.
That's right, and that's what you don't want. So I thought they might be holding back, until they got a better, more
a better court. I think they may be. You know what? I just read an article in one of the mainstream websites, and they were saying there may be an absolute flood of gun rights cases that go to the Supreme Court once Kavanaugh gets on. And, of course, my comment was, I certainly hope so.
There you go. That's it.
All right. Thank you for your call, sir.
Yeah, you've cleared that up. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate the call. 866-TALK-GUN, get you in here. Julie, don't go anywhere. When we come back, you are first up. But we do have room for everybody else. If you'd like to call us, we have some open lines for you. Just call me at Tom Talk Gun.
Laser sights enhance and maintain your accuracy in a time of crisis. Whether you're unbalanced, evading a threat, or engaging from behind cover, a laser sight aids in keeping you on target. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge. and learn more about why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
Want great deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gun Dealio app today. With Gun Dealio, you can search for deals, listen to the Gun Talk podcast, watch gun videos, read gun news, and get notifications right to your phone about deals and special offers. Save money on the products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gun Dealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
All right, we're back with you. Julie is with us on line 3 out of Woodlawn, Tennessee. Hey, Julie, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I got a pre-range report. Just ordered a model 1895 Marlin, 1895 in 4570. It's a guide gun.
Okay.
And we have a lot of woods we hunt in, and so I'm going to be using it for deer hunting, and so looking forward to that. So it's a bit of an early birthday gift for me.
Is this an older rifle you're getting?
No, it's a new rifle.
All right. So what possessed you to choose a Marlin guide gun in 4570?
Well, I like lever actions. I'm not worried about recoil. I don't mind the whomp of it. To me, it just is a really good caliber. We reload, my husband and I reload, and it's just a good overall round. He has a 4570, and it's just something, to me, it's just a really good caliber for in the woods. There's wild boar out here, and to me, going out in the woods, you want something you're going to have a humane kill when you're out in hunting, and you're not, I have all kinds of hunting rifles, long range, 308, 30-06, so forth, 300 Win Mag, but when you're dealing with short range shots, you want to make sure that it's not going to ricochet off a tree and you're going to miss what you're aiming at.
Well, every response you gave to my question of why was spot on and perfect. I could not have done it better. You've thought it through. You know what you're doing. You address the recoil because they do whomp. The one thing I would offer that you may want to do, and I have the same gun. I really want to do it on mine. I just haven't done it yet. Mine does not have a recoil pad on it. Does this one come with a recoil pad?
I'm not sure. When I take it out and test fire it, I'll see how it feels. There's a couple places I know I can purchase a good recoil pad, and if I need to, I will. But I'm going to feel the burn first, right?
Exactly. Go try it out, and if it doesn't bother you, it's fine. I don't know if I'm getting to be a wuss or what the deal is, but I'm telling you, man, when I shoot mine, it's like, oh, man, that hard plastic butt plate, that thing smacks. But I love the rifle. Let me ask you another question. Are you going to put any kind of sights on it, or are you planning on just using the open sights?
I'm going to try open sights first. We have a range on our property. I'm going to see how that goes, and then go from there. It just depends on how comfortable I am
Sure.
With the open sights.
Okay.
And take it from that point, because see, sometimes when it's getting dark, early morning, or just when you can actually start shooting, or if it starts getting to that point where you're almost ready to pack it in, you might see that trophy buck.
Absolutely.
And you want to be prepared, and an iron sight isn't going to cut it.
Well, exactly right. That's why so many of us use scopes. I went a little bit different way. I put an early version of it, a ghost ring sight, basically just a big ring on the back, and used the front sight that was on there. I found it to be a little faster, a little bit better. It is definitely not as good in low light as a scope, though. So, I mean, if that's an issue, I would go with a really low power, maybe a 2-power, something like that scope on that thing, or a little red dot sight.
Exactly. Yeah, so those are some good options. And another thing I would suggest to anyone looking at buying something of this, like a 4570, is look at people firing them on YouTube. So there's some big guys, and you can see them get walloped.
Of course, so and the fact that you guys reload, you can make some lighter loads just for going out and practicing, so you don't get beat up all the time.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's very cool. Yeah. Okay, here I got a favor to ask you, okay?
All right.
After you get it, after you shoot it, after you go hunting with it, call us back and let us know how your season went, okay?
Definitely.
That would be very cool.
And I'll try, if I get something that I'm proud to brag on, I'll send you a picture.
Send us a picture. That would be terrific. We'll put it on the Facebook page, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Julie. Great. That's a great rifle. I had, when was that? Last Thursday? Yes, last Thursday I had the 4570 out. I sure did. It's a cool rifle. I do love those things. Let's see. Do we have time? I think we do. David on 2 out of Tunis, Missouri, I believe that is. Hey, David.
Yeah, how are we doing today?
I'm good. Your favorite round, sir?
We hunt a lot with, like, my brother will come down, he brings his nephew and everything with him, and I've got younger kids I hunt with. We use that 223 an awful lot. It's good because it's a lightweight gun, especially for the younger hunters. My nephew's 12. He used my brother's M&P Sport, and he got a really nice 8-point last year with it. We're in a real heavy wooded area, so the shots aren't going to be much more than 40, 50 yards, really.
Right.
So it's a good platform. It's got good power behind it, and it's really good for the younger hunters. I mean, my brother uses a 30-30. I usually hunt with a 0.6, but when we're going out there with the younger group, we use that 223 an awful lot.
Do you have a scope mounted on that rifle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my brother's does. My brother, he's got a small red dot on it. Mine's just iron sights.
Okay. And, the other thing that's nice about it, just thinking about it, when you've got young people shooting, if it's got one of those collapsible, multi-position stocks on it, you can shorten the stock and make it comfortable for smaller kids or smaller people.
Exactly. And it doesn't have much recoil to it. It's a really good beginner step into them out there in the woods. Like I said, especially where I hunt, there's not going to be any long-range shots. I mean, the longest shot you could probably take on my property might be 75 yards.
Well, and the whole thing is the 223 is absolutely up to that. If you're using good bullets and good ammo, it should work just fine as a deer hunting cartridge. I keep hearing more, and look, thank you so much for the call. I keep hearing from more and more people who are using their 223s, using their ARs as their deer hunting guns. Those who say, well, you don't hunt with an AR-15. Yeah, actually, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people do. You know why? Because the AR is America's rifle. It is the modern rifle, and the 223 is absolutely up to the task. 866-TALK-GUN. know how we've been talking about campus carry? Well, Texas has had campus carry for 2 years now. It's been the law. And now we hear from Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. Texas Tech police say the law makes the university a safer place. Wait, what? Yes. The Texas Tech police are saying that campus carry makes the university a safer place. They say the policy even deters potential active shooters from attempting a mass shooting. Quote, I believe it makes the campus a safer place to live, learn, and educate, said Amy Ivey, a lieutenant at the Texas Tech Police Department. They go on to say that the police say that in a potential active shooter situation, someone might be able to stop it if they're armed. Quote, I like to think we're no longer a targeting opportunity for any such event, such as an active shooter, because they know if they come on campus, there could be a potential for an individual to be able to stop the act of shooting, Ivy said. Hello, that's what we've been saying all along. Oh, my God. Students, faculty, and staff must go through active shooter training. We actually do a hands-on part where we barricade doors. We show you how to go hands-on with weapons, how to defend yourself, and also a truncated training on how to stop the bleed. So that way, all of our faculty, staff, and students are prepared if an event does happen here, she said. It's also, the story I'm reading says, some students say they feel safer in class. Quote from a Cody Wheeler, I do feel safe knowing that there are people that will act upon it. If they have their concealed carry and they see something going, they're going to feel a need to step in. Fascinating. One of the quotes I really like says, with the knowledge that if you're going to carry in a purse or a backpack, it has to remain on your person, said Scott Harmon, a licensed to carry instructor. You can't, listen to this, you can't come in and sit down in your seat and drop it on the floor because it's separated from you. He's talking about a purse or a backpack, and you no longer have control over the gun at that point. It's a point I make all the time about purse carry. You come in, you walk in, you put it on the floor, you hang it on the back of a chair. Your gun is no longer in your control. I am not a fan of purse carry. I had an interesting conversation with a lady yesterday. We were talking about that. She says, oh, yeah. She does her shirt tail out, does inside the waistband. She has a belly band that she uses for some things. She has different ways of carrying at different times. And actually, as I think about it now, as we're standing there talking, I have no idea if she was carrying or not. Could have been. Don't know. I didn't ask. None of my business, actually. But purse carry is problematic. And I understand. Some women don't want to change the way they dress so they can have a gun with them. I get it. But it's serious business. I'm really glad to see the story that the Texas Tech police are actually saying that campus carry is making the university safer. We know it does, because these are people, and here's the key here to understand, just to remind you, the people who can carry on campus now are the same ones who have been carrying all along and not hurting anybody. They've been carrying downtown and in the restaurants and in the parks and, everywhere else and walking right next to people and not causing a problem. There's nothing it doesn't make any sense to think when they step onto a school campus or a university campus, they're suddenly going to lose their minds. Doesn't happen. It's just good guys with guns who can stop crime. Hey, if you'd like to join us for the after show, call us right now and we will get you in. It's tons of fun. 866-TALK-GUN. If you haven't checked out the after show, you got to do that. Check it out online, or best ever, go through the Gun Dealio app, which needs to be on your smartphone. In the meantime, do a little shooting. Hunting seasons are coming up. Get out there and shoot. Find out if that gun's still working. Be safe. Check your six. Take care of your family and be alert. Oh, yeah. Carry always.